Meet Mary, a crypto user who wants to send some to her friend Jane. Let's say Mary holds crypto on Bitcoin and Algorand blockchain. She sends Jane a coin on each network. What do you think happens in the background? For starters, Mary's transactions must be validated before the coins get to Jane. But are the transactions validated in the same way across the two blockchains? Short answer, no. Long answer, these two blockchains have different consensus mechanisms, which is basically a system that cryptocurrencies use to validate instructions. Bitcoin, for example, uses a consensus mechanism known as proof of work, while Algorand uses the proof of stake mechanism. Let's find out their differences, starting with proof of work. To validate transactions, this mechanism uses computers, also known as miners, which compete to solve a complex computational puzzle. And yes, these are the same Bitcoin miners that we've been hearing so much about. Once the puzzle is solved, the block of data is deemed valid and is added to the blockchain. The one who solved the puzzle first is rewarded with the network coins like Bitcoin. Proof of work was created to make decentralization in currency possible, but like all things, it has its shortfalls. First, the difficulty of the computational puzzle increases with more miners. As a result, miners and mining companies are incentivized to invest in high-end computer hardware to remain competitive in verifying transactions. This makes mining prohibitively expensive, and a lot of the computing power is, ironically, centralized. The other issue is that the energy consumption of mining large cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin is very high, and compared to blockchains operating with other consensus mechanisms, it's much slower and much less scalable. This is also the main reason why Ethereum is currently in the process of migrating away from POW, which brings us to proof of stake. In POS, the validation of new blocks is dependent on the number of coins being staked. The more staking coins the person holds, the higher the chances of getting picked as a validator. Let's say James is picked to validate a block containing Mary's transactions. Since his staked coins are locked as collateral, James will need to ensure that his work remains flawless or his stake can get slashed. If he successfully ensures the transactions are valid, he is rewarded. Proof of stake brings in some degree of fairness, as validators are selected to randomly validate, and as already mentioned, it's much more scalable compared to proof of work chains, but this comes at the cost of decentralization. Proof of stake favors the wealthy since the more coins you have, the more voting power you have, and more likely you are able to validate and earn even more coins. This creates a scenario where network dominance can be established by whales with huge stakes. POW and POS are just two of the consensus mechanisms that blockchains use. There are many others out there, such as Solana's Proof of History, BitShare's Delegated Proof of Stake, VeChain's Proof of Authority, and more. So which one is your favorite? What other consensus mechanisms do you know? Let us know in the comments.